Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our first NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana and in the Florida Panhandle as well. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. It continues to change where the New Orleans Saints are concerned. Moves and more moves. Keep it to SportsNOLA.com for more details because it is evolving as we speak, and it's going to continue to be that way before draft day, Lenny.
Well, that's the beauty of this time is you get, you always need the latest information. No better place to get it than right here at SportsNOLA.com because from one moment to the next, literally, things are changing. Cornerback, running back, maybe some other positions coming into play. All of those things, obviously, high priority for the Saints. And we're talking running back. We're talking more the third down variety. C.J. Spiller, Reggie Bush in play. Cornerback. We've seen visits here in the last 48 hours from Tremont Williams, the Louisiana native, as well as Brandon Browner. So, a lot in play there, and let's see how it evolves because it could happen quickly. Stay with us here. We'll have the latest for you.
And you can read the latest we have on the draft with Al Dupuy with his feature piece on, as we speak, where the Saints might go in the draft if they keep their top 3 draft picks as they stand right now, all in the top 44 selections in the NFL draft. The New Orleans Pelicans continue to make progress. A loss by Oklahoma City places them squarely alone in the 8th spot in the West. And Pelicans enjoying it while just sitting back with their heads behind their heads and laying back and kicking back and relaxing and watching because they don't play again until Sunday at home against Denver. And suddenly, this is really starting to look like it could happen.
Yeah, this team had to play 7 games in 10 days. Now all of a sudden you get a 4-day break in the schedule. This is very unusual in an NBA season, but it's just the way the schedule makers work things out. You get a little break until Sunday when Denver comes to town. Obviously a very winnable game at home. And you've got to, as you head down the stretch here with a little more than a month left in the season, you got to take advantage of whatever opportunities are out there. It's possible Kevin Durant could return here in the near future. And if you can open up some space between yourself and Oklahoma City, given the opportunity, then go do it because that team gets a lot better, if they've got both Durant and Westbrook on the floor.
We'll see what happens with Tyreek Evans as to when he can return, whether it's Sunday night or perhaps Tuesday night. But they need him out there, obviously, so we'll see how that works out for the Pelicans. College basketball, it's the weekend because the NCAA field has decided this weekend. First and foremost, kudos to UNO for winning their first ever conference tournament game as a member of the Southland Conference as they defeated Nicholls State. And then, of course, when you look at the other schools, LSU in particular, they're playing, I think, for a seed right now. I think they're in the tournament, and it's a matter of what they can get done in the SEC tournament as to whether they improve from like a 10 to maybe a 9, or if they win the SEC tournament, possibly as high as an 8 seed.
Could even go higher than that because you got to beat Kentucky if you're going to win the SEC tournament or even get to the finals. And that would certainly enhance LSU's stock significantly, further up the board. First things first, they'll open up on Friday against, most likely Texas A&M, and that is, as we were talking about on Monday, that's a key game for them. A&M is really trying to still play their way in. They're probably on the outside looking in right now. If they win their game on Thursday and then win against LSU on Friday and get to the semifinals, that might be enough to get them to the good side of the bubble. So they've got probably a lot more to play for than LSU. But if you're Johnny Jones's team, you've lost 2 tough games to A&M during the year. I think you want to try to exact some revenge where that's concerned.
Of course, Xavier in that large bid to the NAIA National Tournament on the men's side. On the women's side, we'll see Loyola, Suno, and it's going to be great. And obviously, those 2 teams will be pretty nice seeds, so we're looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, Loyola, a 2 seed on their side of the bracket. They've had these 3 meetings with their conference rival, including in the conference championship game. At least the way the bracket is set up, they can't meet until the finals. But kudos to all those teams for landing spots in the NAIA championship starting next week.
College baseball, and Tulane a loss at Southern Miss on Wednesday night. LSU a win over McNeese State. LSU ready to jump into SEC play, and that conference, out of sight. 5 of the top 7 ranked teams in the country?
It's tough. Now, the one thing about LSU's schedule is they miss some of the big boys, if you will, from the eastern side, most notably Vanderbilt. They do not play them. But It's not easy. You know, they open up with Ole Miss, and hopefully the weather cooperates. They can get things started on Friday night. Tulane, couple more weekends still out of the conference. There's only 8 teams that play baseball. Actually, 8 teams that play baseball in the Americans. So they don't open up for 2 more weeks yet. Playing Xavier at home this weekend.
And UNO, of course, they too, like the others, waiting to try to dodge the weather. We have weather through Friday, it appears, and then finally clearing up.
Yeah, they're at home this weekend, but it'll be interesting to see what possible weather on Friday. If it gets out of here early enough, games will go on Friday night. Otherwise, you might be seeing some Saturday doubleheaders.
High school sports, of course, the boys' top 28 tournament going on in Lake Charles. Full coverage at SportsNOLA.com all day and all night for the next 3 days through the conclusion on Saturday night. Congratulations to Landry Walker into the final for a second straight year, trying to win a second straight 4A state championship. Good season for Country Day. Congratulations to them. And, of course, Riverside, you know how good they are, and we'll continue to keep you posted. So just follow us at SportsNOLA.com. From VK Jones to Eric Brown to myself, Matt Sims, we're all there.
All over it. This is no better place to get your high school coverage than right here. And guess what? Finally, next week, we'll get our coverage started with the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase on the baseball side. Weather permitting, but I think the weather is finally going to start cooperating here.
I sure hope so. Knock on wood. Lenny, as always, thanks very much. Have a great week.
All right. See you on Monday. We can actually talk a little more March Madness as the bracket will be set.
That's our First NBC Bank weekend preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank, with 35 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and in the Florida Panhandle. That is First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. For Lenny, I'm Kenny. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.